Themistode, FightHype.com here with I'm very, very bad with names, so I'm gonna try. Padraig McCrory, right?
Close. So it's said with an O, so it's Padraig.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that one.
Padraig Harrington, like the
Got
Irish golfer. He's the most famous Padraig.
Yes, I'm not even too familiar with him, so I wasn't gonna get it. But how you doing today though, man?
I'm good, I'm good. It's the middle of the day, so I'm just resting and then I'm gonna go train again soon.
Cool, perfect. So, let's get the boring stuff out the way. How's training camp been going?
Yes, it's been good. It's been good. So I was offered a fight sort of late November and I thought it was gonna be in the middle of January. So I thought I had a short camp, but it was pushed back, which has been a massive positive because I've now had longer. So things have been going well.
What do you think about Berlanga as an overall fighter, man? He has a pretty decent amount of hype around him. Do you think it's a little bit overblown and he's just like, he's okay. He ain't really all that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think his first 16 fights put him in a place that now has probably reflected on him like negatively because people expected him to keep knocking people out and he didn't. Although he's still been winning fights and I think he's been winning them well. Um, last time out he fought a guy called Jason Quigley and he's from Ireland as well.
Mhm.
And I think Quigley done well and showed that he's not the finished article. So I, I definitely believe that there's holes in his game, and I think that I can exploit that.
Not trying to say like what's your game plan, but when you see Edgar, do you kind of see yourself like staying on the back foot, trying to like box from the outside, kind of like a lot of people does, like Jason quickly tries to do it? Or do you just see yourself kind of having more success if you just kind of brought the fight to him? He was dropped before. He did move a lot when he fought Romar, Angulo, Alexis Angulo. So do you see yourself just being like, nah, man, I know he got power, but I got power too. I'm gonna bring it right to him.
Yeah, it's we have plans A, B, C, and uh and I think we can do most. I seen the fight with Angulo, and I seen that he moved a lot. I don't know if it was because of Angulo's power and he respected it a bit. I don't know if he was trying something new. Um, but one thing's for sure is there's going to be a stage in the fight where I'm going to have to stand and fight him because if if we let him dictate and bully, which he likes to do, I think we're in for a very long night. So there's going to be a stage where it catches fire and we're going to stand and fight.
But just like Edgar as an overall fighter, like the type of hype that he's getting, he doesn't have a world title. He hasn't fought for a world title. Like, do you just think that all of that hype is kind of warranted? Like, or do you, as a fighter, can you kind of see through it and you can see it better than like I can or like fans can? Can you see through it and be like, nah, he isn't as good as what everybody thinks he is, and I'm gonna prove that.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's as good as fighters that hasn't got the platform or the promotion that Edgar's got. Again, I think it's came from his 16 first round knockouts, and it's built him up and he's created a hype. But recently, there's been a lot of questions asked of him. Is he is he what he's made out to be? And I definitely think in Europe and in America, there's a lot of fighters that hasn't got the privileges that Edgar's got, who are probably just as good as him.
When you look at Edgar, do you view him as like an elite level fighter, kind of like your Canelos, your David Benavidez is, or do you think he's like a notch below that?
I think he's definitely a notch below that. Um, the two people that you mentioned are I think they're two of the best pound for pound probably in the world. Um, and I don't think that he's proved that yet. Now he's still young. I think he's only 26, so
Mhm.
he has time on his side. Um, can he become that with his power? Maybe with his technique. I don't know. Them two guys are super fighters, and I think he's probably and below like the top level.
Do you think that do you feel a little disrespected, man? Like, Edgar's kind of talking about fights with Munguia. I want to fight Canelo, this guy, that guy. Like everybody's kind of forgetting, like, wait a minute, he had a fight coming up on February 24th. Do you feel a little bit disrespected, man?
You know what? I didn't expect anything less. I think Berlanga maybe believes a bit like a bit in his hype as well, and I, I also think he's very foolish if he's looking past me. As like I know that I'm not the most sort of known boxer, and especially in the States. But one thing's for sure is like I can fight, I got heart, and I got power, and if he's looking past me, he's in for a long, long night.
Obviously, picking up the win is the most important thing, but does a part of you say like, yeah, if I pick up that win, my name is buzzing now. But if I can knock Edgar out, and like I said, he has been dropped before, like, do you kind of look at that and say, I got to get the win, but boy, if I can knock him out, man, like my name is through the roof right now.
Yeah, I think uh Eddie Hearn has said if I go and win, it's like winning the lotto, and he's been down. I've seen him down in sparring. I've seen him down in an amateur fight,
Hmm.
and I've also seen him down in his professional fight. He's, and I also think he's been hurt. I think Jason Quigley might have him buzzed a couple of times as well, and he's definitely not as big a puncher as me. Quigley's he's a solid fighter, but I think he's naturally a middleweight, and he just moved up in weight. So I think I don't think the fight's going to go to distance. I think one of us are going to win inside the distance, and I'm fairly confident that that's going to be me.
So is it, do you just kind of think that maybe he's a little chinny, or do you kind of, because I know you study like his last fights and stuff like that. So do you think he's probably just like a little chinny, or do you look at probably like some of the holes in his game defensively and says, he keeps doing that wrong, I'm gonna catch him.
Yeah, he does things that result in him getting hit clean. And it's always full blood like sort of punches. Um, and the way he reacts isn't. I don't think it's good either. He I think he gets annoyed at himself when he gets caught, and then he becomes frustrated, and things lead to he's bit people, and I think that's I don't know like what that's about. I don't know if it says what type of person he is. I think we're completely different people. But there's holes in his game, and he could be a little chinny. I in boxing, like you hear stories, and I've heard of rumors of him being dropped in sparring a couple of times, and there's live footage of that. Um, so there's holes in his game. He may be a little chinny as well, so it could be like a bit of both.
I don't want to say you're looking ahead, but does a part of you kind of look like, okay, if I beat Edgar, all of the fights that they're trying to line him up with, like Canelo, Munguia, shit, we take him out the mix. Now I'm the one that's getting those fights. Do you look at it like that?
Yeah, of course. Like I think it's important like to always have a plan after. And for me, so like when I started boxing, I was always let's take it fight by fight. But now I've got to the stage where I'm looking further down the line, and come the 25th of February, I think I'm going to be looking at the big fights that Berlanga's meant to be getting, and my name's in the hat.
Did you get a chance to watch Munguia's recent performance?
I I seen the highlights, and from what I've seen, I was expecting it to be a long night for him because Ryder's tough. He showed he was tough against Canelo. Um, and I watched one of the only fights that I watched of Mungine was against Dennis Hogan, who's another Irishman.
Hmm.
And in fairness, I thought he was beat. Um, so he looks a lot better at super middleweight, and I think he's probably just below like the Benavidez and Canelo's, but he's right there.
Does Munguia, does Munguia for you, is he kind of like not the end goal, but is he like maybe the ultimate goal for 2024? Because Canelo seems like he has like his own thing that he's doing. Benavidez is, I don't really know, but is Munguia like the most realistic option, I would say, after Berlanga?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the fight that Hearn's looking at for Berlanga, so it would make sense if I win that I'm next in line, and also he's outside of like the top guys, he's probably the biggest name like in
Mm.
the division. So financially, it probably makes the most sense as well.
Taking a look at your resume, and obviously you haven't fought Berlanga yet, but just on paper, would you say that he's the best guy you've ever fought, or is there somebody else where you're just like, nah, this guy that you guys don't really know about, but he was really good.
I so in my 16th fight, I fought a guy called Leon Bunn, who was 18 and 0 as well, and he was a very good amateur. And they were expecting big things for Bunn, and I flew to his I flew to Germany, which is where he's from, and I took him out. People didn't expect that. Um, so I think Berlanga is probably just as good as him. I think Bunn's probably technically better. Berlanga has more power. So I think as an all-round fighter, Berlanga is probably the best fighter that I faced.
Do you take anything from that Leon performance? Because like you said, he was 18 and 0, had a pretty decent amount of knockouts, and you stopped him, I believe, around the fifth or the sixth round, something like that. So do you take anything from that performance? Like, undefeated record is cool, but I know how to deal with that. And Berlanga would be your third undefeated guy. You also fought another undefeated guy like earlier in your career as well.
Yeah, no, he may actually be my fourth undefeated guy. I fought another guy, a Ukrainian guy, after Bun, but again, he's been on and he's lost a few.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. So, uh, I I take from it that I traveled, I went to the backyard, and I was the underdog. So that experience is going to be no different to me. Um, in a fight, it's and I moved up in weight. I moved up to light heavyweight like for that fight as well. So in terms of being physically big and strong, I think I'm a big super middleweight, and I'm taken from me moving up in weight and winning like convincingly as a big positive going moving back down a bit.
Since you fought at light heavyweight and you fought like bigger guys and things like that, does a part of you kind of go into that ring and say, with no fear at all? Because it seems like a lot of guys that Edgar fights, not saying that they're scared of him, but they're really wary of the power. Like, okay, let me not get hit too much. But for you, is it different because you fought bigger and stronger guys? So you're just like, yeah, he could crack a little bit, but ain't nothing I'm not used to.
Yeah, I've always been the type of person to say he's two arms and two legs, and I'm approached the same. Like a fight's a fight, and at the end of the day, the best man's going to win. So in terms of fear, I think you need to have nerves, but fear it doesn't cross my mind. It's that you'll be nervous because you're fighting somebody, and the consequences like can be serious. But apart, like when it comes to fear, I don't fear him. No, I'll be nervous on the night because it's a fight. It's the adrenaline, and it keeps you sharp as well. So it's it's good nerves, but f- fear doesn't cross my mind.
Last two questions for you. Since you are a traveling man, but being out here is a little bit different. Like, are you kind of looking forward to, walking through and the crowd is booing you, every punch that Edgar throws, even if it doesn't land, they're still gonna go crazy for him. Are you kind of looking forward to that atmosphere and kind of making everybody quiet down and just settle down?
Yeah, listen, there's about 100. I think there's about 100 traveling fans coming over.
Mm.
So the Irish make noise, but I expect it to be hostile. And again, my experience in Germany, it's something that I've experienced. So my last fight was main event in Belfast in front of about 4,000 people, about the same capacity as the Cabaret URL, and they were cheering me. This is just going to be it's roles reversed, and again, it's it's the boxing game. It's something that I've like I've visualized. I use visualization like a lot, and I've visualized how I'm going to win the fight and what it's going to be like to be in the surroundings, and once I'm there, it's going to be nothing new.
Gotcha. And also wanted to know, when like how do I phrase it? Like when you kind of look at like where you are in your career right now, 35 years old, do you kind of look back and say, God damn, like finally, man, like I'm I get the opportunity to fight like a big name and show everybody like, yo, I'm really up there with these guys, man.
Yeah, listen, my first pro fight wasn't until my 29th birthday. So, well, a couple of days like before that. So, I haven't had like a long amateur career, and I feel like I've stepped up at the right times. I've had many fights that have been offered to me. I almost fought David Lemieux
Mm,
um around 3 years ago, and it fell through. So I've always been willing like to take the risk because I know time's probably not my side, and this is the opportunity that I've been waiting on, and I'm going to capitalize on it.
gotcha. And before I let you go, no interview will be complete in the super middleweight division without talking a little bit Canelo. Do you think Canelo is still the best guy at 168 pounds? Not counting yourself, of course, but do you think he's still the guy, or would you look at like David Benavidez as actually the best guy in the division?
I think as a whole, like Canelo's, I think like he's the man. I think he's still the face of boxing. But Benavidez is shown that that he's the complete fighter. He's super fit. He's super strong. His volume's great, and his punch selection is really good. And his style, I think, troubles Canelo like Bivol did, and he
Mhm.
has that size as well. So it would be really interesting if they fought, and if it was made tomorrow, I would be edging towards like Benavidez. Um, but if I had a choice to fight one, it would have to be Mr. Canelo Alvarez. He's the star in boxing, and he's the one that makes the money. He's like the McGregor of the UFC. It's red panty night if you fight Canelo Alvarez.
With when it comes to like the whole Canelo thing, um, I know you said the most realistic fight for you next if you were able to beat Edgar would be like a Munguia. But do you kind of think like, okay, if I can beat Edgar, if I can beat Munguia, or even if I just beat Edgar, I could like really put myself in a mix to fight a Canelo because Canelo has fought, like you said, he fought John Ryder. He's fought I can't remember the guy's name. Avni something, one of his mandatories. So do you kind of look at it like I can fight him probably as soon as this year? And in your opinion, how did the fight with Canelo actually go in your view? Do you knock out Canelo, man? Like let me know.
Canelo has always so like from what I gather, he's always wanted to come like to the UK, and he may have Irish blood in him because he looks quite Irish. Um, so if he ever wanted to come, I'm the man to fight. And as a as a fighting man and as a boxer, I fully believe that I can beat the man. Like I think he's elite. I think he's a superstar, but he's shown that he mightn't be the same fighter that he was. I think his last performance was really good against Charlo, who is a light middleweight though.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. He's had the four belts for like so long, and I think it's now time to spread them out and to give other people a chance to fight for them belts.
got it. Look, man, it was great talking to you. I appreciate you jumping on me so randomly. I really do, man. This was awesome, man. Thank you, brother. We'll talk again soon, man. Thank you.
Here's Hans, all the best. Take it easy.